actual loot. Okay, maybe this isn't the final one then, because I don't think they'd be giving me the equipment if they'd be giving me like ore and stuff just for the last fight. Ah! I'm in the middle. This is a bad place to be. Oh, I'm not paying attention to the countering.
Renato was surprised that he didn't feel more pain. Just a bit dizzy.
You have almost no health. That's probably why your brain's like, we don't need to feel pain. We're just. I could wait here for my power to regenerate. That'd be exceptionally entertaining, wouldn't it?
Within your aerobics traits. Am I right?
Woo! You did quite well there. I'm surprised. I'm doing well at combat. This feels weird. Okay, I was worried I was about to die horribly there, but I didn't, so we're okay. Stick with my green one for the moment, just for this health boost, just get the last bit of health up before... we sometimes have really horrible final fights here. Yeah, so we're doing this way, we're doing this thing up again, aren't we, where we're going up and round, rather than going up the side of the ship.
Really needed a roof.
Yes, roofs are very delightful, aren't they? Hello! Oh no! I'm trying to be clever and I keep getting myself killed. Oh, there's two of you now. No! Ah! Right, dodge around. Ah, exploding! Exploding! Run! Oh no, my health! My health! Ah! Final fight! Final battle! Definitely what it feels like! No! Alright. Right. Just wait for my power to regenerate. Well, there's no health or energy things around here, is there? Note to self, pushing people off ships while entertaining and looking cool gets you killed. Just don't do that, because whenever I try it just gets me into more and more trouble. That's probably a good way to do it, actually. Okay, now I'm getting really confused. What's going on? Boom, boom, boom. How did you not get hit by that? Oh, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. What am I doing? Ah! I'm gonna die again. I died again. Onwards! Death and glory, because I don't think we're not getting death. Maybe I should be thinking about my moves rather than just randomly smashing buttons. Oh! Oh, you can only counter one at a time. I need to remember that. I keep forgetting. Oh, thank you. Oh, pants, when they die, they explode. I keep forgetting that happens. Okay. Run! Oh dear, running. Do more running. Please be it, please be it, please be it. Yes! Yes, I have no health. Is that it? We got the Farfarer. Woo!
But they did not go unnoticed. Scout ships lifted off, and a long lance of the Imperial flagship. Bernardo turned downwind to gain speed. The Raven ships could pursue, but they couldn't close. The Far Speaker croaked, "You return her and live! Go sacrifice yourself," yelled Bernardo. "Then you won't have her either." On the flagship, the Emperor was readying some arcane weapon. It couldn't be. It was the core.
We blew up the world last time.
Devastating beam lanced out of the flagship. Bernardo zigzagged wildly to keep the Farfarer out of it. Now the Raven scout ships were closing the distance, and the beam was getting closer too. Then came a blinding flash, and the air was searingly hot all around him. There was a thunderous, deafening roar. He could smell burnt oak and burnt feathers and burnt flesh. But when he could hear and see again, they were alive and unhurt, and they were alone in the sky. Zenobia embraced him. They had done it. Through luck and through love, they had won the war. "Avellone, here we come," he said as he held her arms wide in the prow of the boat and let her feel its speed. "Maybe the real Avellone is wherever we're together," she said. And so, after a bit of an argument, Bernardo and Zenobia went to one of the two Avallones. The one shrouded in mists, or the one in their hearts. But which one they went to, I'll never tell.
That sounds like a good ending.
He'd done it. He'd forged his own destiny.
Hooray!
Well, he hadn't actually done it, but he knew what he would do. Bernardo smiled at the book. He practically wanted to kiss it.
Save
The
it
kid's
for Zenobia.
sacrifice hadn't been in vain. He'd saved the book and saved the world. Bernardo owed him and his mother so much. Bernardo lowered the mainsail and let the Farfarer shoot forward in the breeze. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning. This time, he would win.
Okay, there we go. Entering the credits at 8 frames per second. That's not great, but I don't know. So, what to say about it? It's a very kind of basic combat system. I'm sure there's probably a lot more skill to it than I was showing, but this kind of combat, there's too much going on. I'm not a great fan of games like that where there's a lot of things going on and flashy things. That's just my personal issues with the combat. So the story, I do like the idea. I really like the idea of the book. So it almost kind of has saving and reloading built into the book, built into the story. where you're going through, you get to the end, oh, we've messed up, but we've learned something new about what it is, and the game remembers that, and you jump back to the beginning and play through it to get to this point, to get to the end. I'm not a fan of the... I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the symbols. Like when you're getting the 4 truths, I can see that being quite useful. Just to once you get all the truths, but then at that point it's like, well, actually, we're going to tell you exactly which first one you need to do for with the key kind of symbol, and I think that just I think that's just something I'm not particularly I don't like, because although there weren't keys later on to say exactly which one to go for, at that point it's kind of okay, I know what you've got an idea of what to do, because it's which one of these builds into the truths to be found. I'm not really sure what the point of you getting Lupino to have the Iblis Stone was. I mean, it's kind of, that's the one thing that really kind of confuses me. Like, maybe if you send Zenobia after the Iblis Stone, she goes somewhere else, and so you end up having to do a completely different mission. I don't know. Maybe I just got lucky with those picks, but I think, well, we got to the end, and I think all my picks were fairly logical. I don't know. So the Truth Finder will help you find the paths that lead to truths you've not yet found. Looks like I'm making choice in the book. Okay. But I've finished that one. I'm confused. I've finished the game, haven't I?
The clouds parted over the Isles
I
of
didn't want to do
Boreas.
this.
It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renato knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert.
Yes.
The Iblis Stone was hidden there. It was a dangerous artifact. It could corrupt its user into a bloodthirsty monster. Maybe he could find a way to use it, to take its power without surrendering to its wickedness. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion, and he had a gut feeling that he needed to use that to his advantage.
So, okay. So it had that symbol saying, oh, for truths you've not yet found, but we found all the truths. Now, but what I assume that we could now just flick through as we need to, if we wanted to do these other ones, find these other stories, maybe make different choices. But we've got the 4 truths. Kind of, by the looks of things, maybe got them in a different order to the way we're actually meant to. But we picked up the 4 stories. 4 stories. We found the 4 truths, and then we got the hero path. I think I'd prefer it if, like, because they did tweak that last bit of dialogue. Like, oh, he thought he had to use Lupino. I think I would have preferred it if, instead of having the key symbol, as we can go back here and I can show it, this key symbol here, it was just the bit of dialogue, and so you're kind of working it out yourself. I think I'd prefer it if you're kind of fumbling around with the stories and trying to go, okay, what have I done, what haven't I done, and try and kind of get this ourselves, rather than, because it feels like the game goes, okay, you have to do 4 stories to get the 4 truths, and then you just have to play it once more. I think if you're going for, if you're a completionist, then you can play and get all of the 24 stories plus the final one very easily. Oh, I'm just being summoned. Right, so where was I? Right, so as a completionist could go through all the 24 stories plus this one, but for someone like me who's just, I want to enjoy the story, there's less kind of story to it, and I think there's less kind of personal investment, because knowing this, it's all of a sudden kind of a, well, all I need to do is find Lupino once, get the armature and the core once for this one, go with Lupino, take the Iblis Stone, and get the armature and meet Zenobia for this one, and then just play through the kind of logical picks for the final one. I think I'd prefer it if they didn't have that key, and it would have made more of a kind of stumbling around kind of feeling. I mean, maybe I just got lucky with picking these 4 out really getting the 4 truths really quickly, but it just feels kind of, they could have not. So I mean, maybe that's why they just had the pop-up saying, oh, if you've not picked up all the truths, here's a thing that will tell you where to go. Maybe you could say, maybe they could have saved the key for, so after you've done 5, here's any truths you've missed, we'll help you get those. And then maybe after, I don't know, at 7, maybe because so 5, then 1 more, so say you're missing 1 truth at that point, just go to 6, 1 tryout for the hero, maybe just go straight to 10. So on after the 10th playthrough, here's how to get the proper ending, this hero path. So I mean, I could have just ignored the key, admittedly, that's kind of my fault, but that at that point is a kind of, here's a big symbol for you that you should be doing, and I think I'd prefer a bit more. I'm not sure if I'll be playing more of this. Partly, I mean, I've gotten to the ending now. I mean, anything other than that is just going to be a worse ending. And also, I don't think many people are actually watching this, so that kind of does sometimes affect what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going to replace this with then. I'll have to think about that. But it's been enjoyable. I don't know how much this cost. As I said, I got this as a review code, so I can't comment on the value of this, but it seems like a fun game, but maybe just ignore the symbols, and I think that's part of the problem, is I went for the symbols, because especially for this last run, because that seemed to be the sensible thing to do. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But yes, so I'll see you, hopefully, in another series. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for watching.